All right. Get your makeup on.
How do I look?
I'll put some filters on it later. Don't worry. All right. Hello, everyone. Again, it's Aaron Tucker. I'm a financial advisor at Edward Jones, and we are still doing our Questions in Quarantine series. I have a good friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, Eric Grasmeyer, with us today. He is the managing member of LaunDream, which is a multi-site laundromat company. They've got their flagship store in Huntington Beach, and then another in Yorba Linda and Placentia as well, with more on the way currently. We were just talking pre-show just about kind of what the outlook is like for his company, how, these are difficult times for everybody. And yet, like, as he sees it, like, difficult times mean opportunities if you're prepared for them. So super excited for today's conversation, especially because, like, a laundromat, something that if you've ever been to college, you've used one, right? If you've ever had too many, like we have a laundry system in my home, and you had them probably in your apartments or something. But whenever you have too much, or you just need it done really quickly, kind of, there's a couple reasons for a person to visit a laundromat. And then the things that LaunDream is doing to change the face of what a laundromat looks like in terms of quality and accessibility and a couple other things, it's pretty incredible. So I'm going to be putting some of the links in the liner notes here. So Eric, man, tell us about LaunDream, kind of what your vision was when you were starting it, and just the basics of, like, the service or products that you provide.
Sure. Thanks again for the call, Aaron. I like sharing our story because it's pretty unique. My wife and I went to a laundromat when we were in an apartment, and we were in a pretty well-to-do area of Orange County, and just thought, this does not make sense. Like, this laundromat is a dump. And I remembered my days in college and thinking, yeah, like, why is that? Why do laundromats have to be dumps? Here I am trying to clean my clothes, and where I'm standing is not clean. And it didn't make sense for me in a zip code of Orange County where, our rent was outrageous. It's not like we weren't earning enough money. We just couldn't afford to buy a house. We had not a great place to do laundry. And that just really got me thinking, and went back to my days in college of entrepreneurship classes and presentations that we did with roommates. And one of them was on streams of revenue, like car washes, laundromats, rental property, streams of revenue that don't require you to be there, sitting there. Like, it doesn't require that is your full-time job, is you have to be sitting there to do it.
Wow.
So I've just always had an inkling for that kind of a thing. And the right timing and the right opportunity to work on a business plan kind of all happened at the same time, and just jumped right in, man. Just went out there and bought my first 2 stores and decided to change the face of laundromats, like you said.
Man, and passive income is everyone's favorite kind of income, right? And yet at the same time, I'd say, like, your income isn't exactly passive, because it's not like you said, you just set it and forget it and never have to touch it. Tell me about some of, like, the skills or the habits that you have developed, or that you have you already had coming into this situation, that you feel like makes you and makes LaunDream something different.
Certainly. In meeting with my partners, we wanted to come up with our own values. And, something as simple as a laundromat seems silly to have a value statement, but I look back at Starbucks as kind of that's our idol, right? Like, we wanted to become the Starbucks of laundry, where someone took something very simple like a cup of coffee and instilled their values and their experience into that. And we want to do that with LaunDream. So we came up with 4: excellence, respect, integrity, and creativity. Because, as we mentioned, I feel like people are disrespected in most laundromats. There's no excellence or integrity in laundromats from what I can see. Usually it's some kind of a slumlord who's taking advantage of people who can't afford to do their laundry anywhere else, so they have to come here, and it's a dump. Or the mediocre owner who just kind of pays the bills and keeps the cash under the table and isn't operating with the highest integrity.
Wow. Yeah.
And creativity too. Just, what can we do differently in a laundromat with kids areas and Wi-Fi and cafes and like a lounge, and just the branding and the marketing. Like, what can we do differently to encourage people to come check out our store, where we make laundry a dream and they actually enjoy doing their laundry?
Yeah, it's super interesting. That word creativity strikes me. I mean, I'm glad for the integrity. Always when a business owner can actually be honest about the amounts of money they're making. Like that's I feel like it's an obvious thing, but the creativity strikes me as something that's really really unique to what you're doing, because it does seem from an outsider perspective that this laundromat system is one that is really ripe for some really macro shifts in the way that people think about laundromats. I mean, like you said, they've got a bad name, like it's something that only poor people do. When you and I have had conversations in the past, you're like, no, actually, think about how many of the wealthiest people do fluff and fold. Which I'd like for you to kind of tell me what some of the products and services you have outside of a person who walks in, puts 4, 5, 6, 10 loads of laundry in at the same time, cranks it all out in, I mean, what? 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And like, instead of 2 days, like my wife currently would, with
Right.
one machine. So like, tell me about some of the services you provide. Tell me about the stuff that you'd say like, no, like if you don't know about one or two of these things, you're missing out on what a high quality, like Ace laundromat can do for you.
Sure. Yeah, I think it boils down to, there's two types of customers. There's customers of necessity and there's customers of convenience. And I think LaunDream Huntington Beach has really opened up to serve both of those really well. Obviously there's people that they've got no choice. They have no washing machine. They have no hookups, or the facilities at their apartment or at their house are insufficient, like what I had in my apartment back in the day. Or on the flip side, there's someone like your family, right? You've got 3 kids and you've got one washer and one dryer. Now, at the end of the week, or if you get home from vacation, you've got 12 loads of laundry to do. And that's going to take all day Saturday doing one load at a time, right?
Right.
Or you can come to my store and you can throw all of those loads in a couple of machines because they're giant. And in 1 hour, they're washed and dried. And depending on how fast you can fold, you're out of there in 90 minutes versus spending it all day Saturday. Or the real convenient way is drop it off for what we call full service wash and fold. Literally, you hand over your dirty laundry to our wonderful employees and you walk away. And we have come up with the slogan, "Go wander, we launder," because I want you having fun. I want you spending time with your wife and kids. I want your wife not stressed out about doing laundry. I want you being productive going to work instead of doing laundry, so you can go have fun with your kids and not be stressed out about something as time consuming as folding clothes.
Yeah, for the customer where convenience is king, you start to look at like your time and your quality of life weighed against how much a service like that would cost you, and if it's upright, oh my gosh, yeah, I would give myself, because I do half the folding, in my best moments, and yeah, that takes a long time, and that's not even counting actually getting it clean and dry.
Right.
I mean, we can talk about either on the upside or the downside, but maybe what are the best companies in your industry doing, and to like set themselves apart, kind of like you are, or maybe, or would you say, what are mediocre companies doing, or kind of the old school companies doing that you feel like is holding them back?
Yeah. So I think, as great of an idea as I think I had, I'm not the first. There are some good operators out there. There are guys that have multiple locations. And I think doing it right is fairly simple. It just costs money. And that's why most owners aren't willing to do it. Doing the right thing includes having new machines, fixing machines. Nothing's more frustrating than going to a laundromat and half the machines are broken. Spending the money on employees to keep things clean and offer customer service. Dressing up the store with the right kind of floor and lighting and TVs and Wi-Fi. I mean, these things aren't free. And a lot of owners, the mediocre ones, think, I'm not willing to pay that. And they're missing out on volume. I truly believe that customers do not visit laundromats for price. I think the number one thing for customers at a laundromat is the condition of the store and their experience. A customer will drive an extra mile or two for the more expensive location because it's a safer, better, cleaner experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to like you said, I don't want to wash my clothes in a place that's clearly not been kept up. It's like, well, what kind of like diseases am I exposing, someone to? Like, am I
Yeah,
exposing my clothes to that it just came out of the dryer?
right. There's certainly concern about the hygiene, but then there's also literally concern about people's safety. I mean, some of these stores are in shady areas. They're not lit very well. There's no security or employees keeping an eye on things. So I get it. I mean, I think of every store that we look into to acquire. I think, would I send my wife to this store by herself? And if the answer is no, then we either consider not buying it, or it's okay, this is an opportunity to offer a beacon, a safe place in a neighborhood for people to feel comfortable and safe to do their laundry.
And remember, so you are actively acquiring stores, is that correct? Like you're still on the lookout, putting feelers out even in this season?
Oh yeah. You know, unfortunately, these hard times for most of us also offer up opportunity. And I'm looking for spaces to lease. I'm looking for laundromats that are for sale, specifically in Orange County. You know, I'm looking to expand and acquire as quickly as possible and as often as possible. You know, I'm very grateful that in this time, laundromats are considered an essential service. So
Right.
even though this outbreak has shut down a lot of businesses, laundry doesn't stop. You know, like you said, just ask your wife. People got to clean their clothes, and the laundromat has to stay open. So I'm grateful that we can be open. You know, we've had a little bit of dip, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But we're a recession and economic volatility proof or resistant type of business. So we're looking to buy more.
That's awesome, man. Well, okay, so speak to some of the stuff that COVID-19 has meant for your industry. So either like, if it's changed the structure of something, or if you feel like there's a service or product you've begun adding, or some process you've begun as a result.
Yeah, you know, everybody is a little bit afraid of you know, germs and keeping things extra clean, obviously. So I can proudly say that our stores are always clean. But in this day, it's like, okay, we need to go to some extra measures. So I've increased the cleaning schedules with our employees, and you know, the employees are wearing all the protective gear and that kind of stuff, just to help our customers know, like, hey, we're taking this seriously, and we also understand that you still have clothes to clean, so we're going to be here to help you stay clean, and we're going to be clean in the process. And also just being extra mindful of, from my experience, my household is upside down right now. I've got 2 kids, so the stay-at-home order has made life with a small business and small children quite challenging.
Yep.
So wash and fold is still available for those families that they may be stuck at home, but they're losing their minds.
Yeah.
Like I am.
Yeah.
Just one less thing to worry about. So, you know, we're offering coupons and trying to help out as much as we can.
Wow. And that's where you drop it off at the door. Do you have to like do pre-separation, or do your people separate clothes as well?
We do everything. You literally just bring your laundry. You bring your hamper, drop it off. You can leave us instructions. You can tell us no bleach, or bleach the heck out of it. You could tell us, I don't want any perfume or scents or whatever. I mean, you can give us all your special instructions, and my employees, they're experts. My wife gets our laundry at home, and she says, I couldn't do this better myself. They're amazing.
That's awesome. What are one or two industry specific concepts that you would educate someone about? Like, even a look inside the industry, or maybe even as you'd say, hey, if one of these viewers that's going to watch this has a local laundromat, like what should they be looking for in a laundromat? What do you feel like, again, is a place you'd want to hang your hat as like educating somebody listening to this video?
Sure. You know, since starting in this business, I've had a lot of friends and family ask about it. I think that the number one myth as a laundromat owner for anyone interested in the idea of owning a laundromat is people ask me, well, what do you do all day? Because, you know, a laundromat kind of runs itself and all I got to do is go collect the money. And it's silly. That's no business. Every business needs management and time. And yeah, I have the advantage of having several locations that can be open and can, you know, collect money while I'm not there. But, you know, I'm on call all the time, and they do require a lot of maintenance, especially with employees in Huntington Beach. So there's a common misnomer that, oh, well, I can do that. I can just buy a laundromat and it can just be something that I have on the side. And let's just say there's buying opportunities for me from somebody who buys a store under that pretense.
Yeah, you sent me a 4:35 a.m. text before of a leaky pipe saying, well, I had to, you know, clock in early this morning. I think it might have been on like a Saturday or Sunday. It's like, yeah, that doesn't sleep.
Right. And then to the average customer, you know, there's a stigma of laundromats. I get it, but it's not every laundromat, and laundromats are not only for disadvantaged people or low income areas. Laundromats can actually be a convenient place to get your laundry done, even if you have a home with a washer and dryer. The right place can save you time.
Yeah, man. You mentioned multi like extra large washers and dryers. Like we had some of these at the laundromat that I was using in college. But how many loads? Like if we've got one, you know, a bunch of like darks, like how many loads can that laundry system hold at one time?
So if you think about like a standard top loading washer that is in most American homes, right?
Right.
Those are supposed to have between 10 to 15 pounds of laundry in them. That's their maximum to get a good clean. I have machines in Huntington Beach that can hold 80 pounds. So that's, you know, 6 to 8 loads of darks or towels or whatever, you know, in one machine that runs in 30 minutes.
That's awesome. And oh, by the way, basically, if the kids stay home with dad for 2 hours, the mom or whoever goes out there and does the laundry at LaunDream, they go out there and they chill for 2 hours, and either they hang out in the Wi-Fi zone or they go on a walk. Or tell you what you should do is you should try to put your next couple laundromats near a brewery, and that way you could just like walk next door to the brewery. I mean, there's got to be. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but man, that one screaming setup.
Yeah, there's some in New York that are breweries and laundries in the same room, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go get my liquor license for something like that.
Right.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that'd be worth the extra time. Let's see. Well,
you tell your wife, man, she can come to Huntington Beach anytime and consider it a 2-hour vacation away from home, because there's Wi-Fi, there's TVs, there's places to sit, there's music. There's shops nearby, there's restaurants nearby. So I mean, it ain't bad. In fact, we like to think we make it a dream. That's the whole premise.
That's rad. Well, okay. 2 more things. So one is, what's a success story you're proud of with your business? Either someone you helped or something that happened. Yeah,
I think I hear from customers quite a bit that they used to go somewhere else and now they won't go anywhere else but LaunDream. But one in particular was from a woman who lives in Fountain Valley, which is about 10 miles from our store. And she works in Huntington Beach, and she brings her laundry with her to work so that after work she can do her laundry at LaunDream, because everywhere in Fountain Valley is a dump. And she tells her neighbors and her friends in Fountain Valley, you got to drive up to LaunDream. And I've met some of them too. So in the laundromat world, 10 miles, you might as well say 100 miles when it comes to convenience. But they're willing to make that drive to come to my store, that's an honor. And, you know, we take that seriously when we make that promise of we make it a dream. If someone's willing to drive 10 miles, sounds like we're doing a good job.
Yeah, man, that's magnetic. That's awesome. So I guess I'll close by saying, you know, to anyone watching, if and Eric, you didn't ask me to do this, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway, just because it sounds like you're really still grinding this out and trying to pick up new locations. So if any of the viewers here know of any laundromat, the one they use, the one that's nearby, and you look at it and you say, man, I wonder if that person would be in a position to sell. Like, is that a conversation that somebody else can have for you and kind of like test the waters of who an owner is, or is like owner information posted somewhere that they could grab a business card and, you know, say, hey, you should give LaunDream a call, kind of thing?
Yeah, you know, there's always the website laundreamlaundry.com. So LaunDream, like we make it a dream, laundry.com. You can hit me up on LinkedIn, Eric Grasmeyer, or even email me directly, ericgrasmeyer@gmail. That's one S in Grasmeyer. Happens all the time. But absolutely, I'm looking for as many leads, quality leads as possible, whether you're a property owner or you happen to know somebody who owns a laundromat or you frequent a store that may be for sale or not. I'm looking to talk to pretty much anybody in Orange County that has the right location and the right demographics to renovate a store.
And you'd limit that to Orange County, specific areas, or just kind of like say, well, let's start with Orange County and then we'll filter out from there?
I mean, we've got stores in Yorba Linda, Placentia, Huntington Beach, and hopefully Costa Mesa. But honestly, Orange County is such a great area for laundromats. Everything is so dense. I can't think of a neighborhood that would be a bad fit for a LaunDream, truly.
Yeah. Well, final question. You've got two little girls. I've got two little girls. Who's your favorite Disney princess? Do you have a favorite?
Ooh, gosh. I mean, I can't be cliche and go with any Frozen princess because that would be everyone's standard answer. But I got to say, I really like the character of Moana. I feel like she's a role model that I would be okay with for my girls.
That's funny. You would bag on Frozen because mine's Elsa. So
of course it is.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. All right, I'm going to put the laundreamlaundry.com website in the liner notes. I will see if I can't figure out a way to link your LinkedIn. But if anything, just obviously search Eric Grasmeyer in your LinkedIn deal, and you'll come up, I'm sure. And then I'll put your email up as well, just so people can spell it with one S, not two.
That's right. That's right.
Well, man, Eric, thanks for taking a few minutes. I know you're grinding. I know that like your car is one of like 3 offices that you like kind of sort of split your time between evenly. So thank you for letting us jump into this office. And and then, man, wherever you're driving next, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, buddy.
Yep. Cool. See you, Eric. Thanks, pal.